Hello, everyone, and welcome to Saber, the Cenotaph Part 20. I am your host, Austin Ramsey. My pronouns are he, him. I am the creator of Saber, your host and GM for this evening, and you can find me on Twitter at NotAnIn. As always, this stream is presented by You Don't Meet in an Inn, an actual play podcast about exploring obscure tabletop role-playing games with a diverse, rotating cast. If you'd like to find the rules for Saber, you can do so at tinyurl.com/beamsaber. And if you'd like to financially support the game's development, you can do so at patreon.com/AUSTINRAMSAY. And that is my long introduction out of the way. This evening, I am joined by Takuma.
Hi, I'm Takuma. My pronouns are they, them. My Twitter is at Takuma_Okada_, where I am currently helping host an emotional mecha game jam. We have two separate ones, one for tabletop and LARP, and one for video games. Because our plan for the tabletop one is to make a zine, hopefully, with enough interest at the end. If you want to write a short game about big robots and feelings, hit us up. No judgment. Just submit. Literally anything. In addition to that, I have a lot today. A lot has happened recently. I am on a podcast that will be releasing within the next couple months. Called Whispers in the Shade, which is playtesting another system, a friend system, Bren. And you can follow the show Twitter at wit_show, WITS_show. And Bren recently did an interview with the Too Many RPGs podcast, talking about the system and some of the world building and some of our characters. And their Twitter account is at Too Many RPGs, where they have links to all of their shows.
Thank you, you very busy person, you.
Yeah.
And also joining us is Sasha.
Hi, I'm Sasha. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me on Twitter at Sasha_no. You can follow all my game dev stuff at tcabbage. And as long as we're plugging stuff, check out Spindle Wheel at tinyurl.com/spindlewheel-open-beta and Spindle Wheel Stories, where it's just me and a bunch of people playing it. And that's the end of mine. Bye.
Very good. And also joining us is Ray.
Hello, I'm Ray. I don't have anything to plug, I'm sorry, but my pronouns are they, them. You can find me on Twitter at RayRavenGayGay.
Thank you. And of course, joining us as well is Jess.
Surprise, bitches. Yes, hi, I'm Jess, the artist formerly known as Doc. It's my birthday. I'm a birthday girl. And, yeah, that's about all I'm going to say on it. You guys can follow me on Twitter at DoubleDocMD and Twitch.tv by the same thing. I have a podcast called The Movie Morgue at Movie Morguecast on Twitter. We talk about movies. And finally, I'm out so I could talk about The Matrix and just kind of flagellate myself for, I guess, viewership. Nah, it's good.
Most excellent. All right, so let's get back into it. I'm going to take us over to the play screen.
Woo! Play screen.
Yeah. So, last we left our heroes. Let's see. You'd loaded up the Magpie full of criminal children and shipped them off to your boarding school in Hollinton.
I feel like the term is juvenile delinquents.
Yeah. No, baby criminals.
baby criminals.
Yes.
Crimlings.
Criminalings. Yes, very good. So the Magpie is no longer with y'all, nor are the Rubble Runts. They have been moved elsewhere.
They're fine. I need to clarify that they're fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
You managed
Also,
to...
he's being very cryptic and, like...
They're in
ominous.
They are alive in the Magpie and not corpses, as is normally moved by the Magpie, theoretically.
Theoretical. Thanks.
Everyone get in the pear wiggler.
But
I
y'all
promise you haven't.
y'all have two other problems. Well, three other problems now. The first problem is that you still need to find Margrave Elreth, the missing cousin of Lady Elreth. And he is somewhere in Kingstown, the neighborhood in Journey City that y'all are in, that is home to the poorest people in Journey City and the refugees. The second problem is that, well, Scarecrow tore up 2 out of 3 Tybalts from the March of Saints. Tybalts being close combat medium AVs, and they were coming to ask some questions, and then you got a great effect crit on them and killed them, well, 2 of them, and damaged the third one.
They asked hard questions. I gave them hard answers.
Yeah. And then the third problem is that you have about a dozen Burden members who surrendered to you. And I don't know what you're going to do with them because...
I forgot that surrender was like adoption.
Yeah.
We just have a bunch of. I hadn't really planned on anything. I just figured we'd sort of set them out in the wild again.
Yeah, you got to...
Just do that.
Got a catch and release program with the Burden. I mean,
It's an option.
yeah, okay, let's set the scene. I think that it's snowing out, or it's just starting to snow, because remember, this is the middle of winter. I think that it is Pitchfork, Tower, and Dredge are inside the department store. With you've just seen off the Magpie and the Rubble Runts. There's still Joe, Jerry, Barry, and a couple of the older ones who have stayed behind, as they said that they were going to help you out as a fire team of toughs here for this mission. And so I think that they've got their guns pointed at these dozen Burden cell members on the where let's see, they were in the stairwell, so I think you probably moved them to the storage/break room that the Burden were that the Rubble Runts were using as a safe house. So the 3 of you plus the Burden, or the Rubble Runt fire team, and then the Burden squad. The Burden, they're all on their knees with their hands behind their heads, including Hannah Copeland, the leader of the cell, and one of the most prolific members of the Burden, and a childhood friend of Pitchfork, who she is glaring at, but she's not saying anything.
Oh, we are going to talk about this later?
Yeah, pretty much. So, what did the 3 of you do? Joe is looking nervously between the 3 of you and looking over at his people. Everyone's like... No one said it yet, but everyone quite clearly is ready to start executing these cell members, because they were, as far as they know, they were going to do the same to them. But they're waiting on... They said they were going to follow your lead. They just kind of, I think, assume that that's what it's going to be.
I can also assume that there is the background detail that all of this is to the rhythm of outdoor thunder of heavy autogun fire. A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think every so often the, like, light bulb in the room hanging from the ceiling shakes a little, shifting the shadows about in a jittery fashion as there's the rumble of...
Oh, does it do that, like, hummy, like... Zzz, zzz, zzz?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Dredge looks to Pitchfork. What's the move?
So out of character for a second, I've been thinking a lot about like haunted and soft as scars, and I specifically soft, where it's like I don't think that soft necessarily means that Pitchfork is afraid to do violence. In a sense, it's I'm thinking now because I had a really hard. It was really hard for me to come to terms with playing out soft and then doing what Pitchfork would do and doing what Pitchfork had to do in game, and there was a bit of a disconnect there. But I'm thinking now more that soft is instead more like being unable to do the difficult thing and save people sometimes, where it's like violence is what she is good at, and this isn't necessarily vicious per se, but it's where she doesn't have the capacity to do the tough thing and help people.
Mm.
So it's like the difference between violence and conflict, kind of thing.
Elaborate on that a little. It's more like, yeah, it's like she is capable of doing violence and is capable of solving things with violence, and that is the easiest way for her to solve things a lot of the time.
So it's like conflict avoidance.
Yeah, and like previously, like she, like on Wander, it's not like she wanted to fight Hannah. Like she took that knife, she talked to her. I don't know if that's what's. I don't know if that's where she's at now. Like we can't just let her go, and have her keep causing problems. Because yeah, we fundamentally disagree on what vision we have for people here, and I don't know if we'll be able to convince her otherwise. And Pitchfork, I don't think. No, she doesn't want to kill her, but also if other people push for that, which the Rubble Runts sort of are, kind of, I imagine. They're waiting, and will respect what decision we make, but...
Oh, something I want to make clear here as well is that the burden cell, they aren't like restrained or anything. Like they aren't tied up or handcuffed or anything, to be clear. I just want to...
Are they at least disarmed?
Yes, they are disarmed. They
is-
were searched and everything. They don't have even a penknife on them.
There is another route we could go down in this, but, you know, I don't know that we want to go down this route. To present the option, just, you know, and I think this is also in character. I think Tower sort of pulls Yell aside and says, like, I mean, they were gonna ship the Rubble Runts off. We could just put them on that carrier. Get them out of the way without having to do any of the killing. So we really want to go that
Be
route.
ironic, but
I don't think that would get them out of the way.
yeah.
If they had to deal with the church to begin with,
Shit. I forgot that was for the church. Fuck.
I mean, is the church desperate enough to take in people it's already got business with?
So something I want to make clear is that it was the March of Saints who were asking for who were seeking out the labor, not necessarily the church as a whole. Like, I just want to make clear that distinction, that it is possible that it is not the church, that the saints are acting on their own provisions, but it could be that they are, as acting as agents for the church's entire representation in
The
this
question
area.
is, did it come from the Pope or the Bishop?
Matter.
Yep. Well, speaking of the faith, who is the Pope equivalent in the church,
Oh, fuck, I forgot.
yeah, you got approached by Castle Kim, one of the Breath of Faith, and they told you to take a contract from Tusser in the near future.
Oh, dick. They did say that, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Oh,
Tusser being your rival in the March of Saints.
Twos are bad, actually.
just all bad from the top to the bottom.
Fuck.
Well,
There's
here's the thing. I don't think fulfilling the burden's quote-unquote contract with the burden is going to support the theory that the burden... Well, maybe it would. But with the gunfire happening outside, to sort of... Maybe that's a little bit metagamey, but if we are framing the burden for the death of the March of Saints outside,
No witnesses.
does that...
I'm also not sure that I've had time to communicate that situation to you guys clearly.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I remember I mentioned at the end of last session, or I think that might have been off the air, but, like, I had a very clear mental image of, like, when the whole, mech killing business was going down, just, like, standing at a broken out window with the Rubble Runts watching this, but, like, would I have known that that was Riza in there, or would I have assumed it was...
Yeah,
No, you would
because
have
they
known.
lift you
Okay.
up to
Yeah.
get you.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm just dumb. Sorry about that.
No, it was 2 weeks ago. Don't worry about it.
You know it's a friendly.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. Fun times. Okay. Shit.
You see, one of the runts, kicks one of the burden cell members, and Joe's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she's like, I saw him looking at the chair leg. I'm pretty sure he was going to go for it." And one of the burden people yell, "Yo, keep your boot off of him." Things are starting to become volatile. I think it might be starting to hit the burden that they outnumber you all, even if you have the guns. Because you certainly don't have the magpie anymore, which was the thing that cowed them initially.
Le français.
Fuck. I mean, we could just separate the groups and, like, take the send the rest of the Rubble Runts back and keep the burden here until they're out of, realistic range. I don't really know what to do here.
Well, you better decide something soon.
Can we get more information? What's her name again? I'm sorry. The leader of the burden at the moment.
Hannah Copeland.
Hannah. Can we get more information from Hannah? Well, we've got her.
Yeah, you want to talk to her?
No.
Hey, I took a new point and consort. I can, like, be sexy at her or something.
Oh, man. Yeah, she really doesn't want to
Like,
talk.
hello, prisoner.
Yeah, yeah.
For that.
That's the thing I can do. No, I don't have anything. I don't have anything in command.
Well, like, real quick, what can we do? We can kill them. We can let them go. And then what else? What are our other options?
We can, you know, if we really want to go with that, we can turn them over to the Saints, but that's probably not a great option.
What do we usually do with people?
We don't.
It's not like we haven't had prisoners before.
No, we haven't had
If you
prisoners.
want Scarecrow's advice, you know what she's gonna say.
I don't, actually. Maybe I can ring her up and find out.
The only time we've had
In a
prisoners is
firefight
when
right now after committing a war crime.
the only time we had prisoners was when Demon killed them.
That's true.
So, you know,
What's even
that's
do?
where we stand on this.
Well, here's what she would say in the abstract if we were in a longer conversation. Is just they can probably pick us out of a lineup, and we did some bad shit today. And
We is
Scarecrow's not
generous.
100% on the alignments and the politics, because she's still new to the squad and the local politics, mostly battle reports.
They're independent.
But she just opened up on someone loosely affiliated with our bosses. So she is very much like, witnesses no, right now.
Yeah, again, we is being a little abstract with the matter.
Well, they're an independent faction, which means that it's not like we can't. It's not like we can return them to the Jogengelian Empire or whatever it was that we did before.
Right. Right.
Do the three of you want a minute to think about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to be clear. If you have any discussions, I want those to be in character, and we'll have those on screen. But for the moment, let's turn back over to Scarecrow.
Oof.
So, I think you probably. So the last Tybalt has like run away. It's damaged. It's still upright though. I think it's taken cover behind one of the mid-rise buildings in this area. This area is, to be clear, like basically all mid-rise buildings. There's none that are above 10 stories. Most of them are probably closer to like 6 or 7. And then there are several that are like just 2 or 3 stories. This was probably a like light commercial district before the war found it and before civil services started to fall apart.
Yep.
So what are you going to do in your arquebusier, which is half wrecked?
So, this is my thought. Is it's behind cover, right?
Yeah, I don't think you have eyes on it at this time.
Okay. Okay. Well, in that case. Okay, so assuming for a second that it's like around a corner past the street, right?
Mhm.
What I want to do then, I think, is jump jet. Moderately sweet. And jump jet not to the building that's the corner between us, but on like their street, the opposite corner, the opposite building across that street.
So right over them. Is that am I?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So that way I get to look down as I pass over and then pop out and shoot down at him.
Okay.
That'd be a maneuver, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I think that'll be a risky, limited maneuver because the Saints are higher tier than you.
Okay. I'm just gonna go with 2d6 there. Just the standard roll. It's a 4.
That's a 4. That's all right. Okay. Let's see. So were you firing on them as you went by, or were you just trying to get eyes on them in a good position?
I think just trying to get position on them at this point because we don't have line of sight. So I'm assuming the firing has stopped. Because
Yeah.
if the firing was still ongoing, I had a different plan in mind.
Yeah. No one was shooting at this time. All right. So yeah, I think. So what happens is that you fly over the pilot in the Tybalt, and were you landing on the building or on the other side of it?
On the building.
On the building? Okay. So you land on the building, and it gives way under your feet. Like, it holds for a second, just long enough for you to think you're good, and then the rooftop collapses. You go... the arquebusier goes through the roof, and because the arquebusier is a fairly small mech, you're completely concealed from the Tybalt, but now you're like partially buried. You're now in a desperate position because this did not go unnoticed by the Tybalt, so it knows you're in there. It doesn't have direct eyes on you. And your view screen is just clouded with dust and snow. What do you want to do?
Okay. So, this is going to be an instinctive reaction here, but what I want to do is I want to rely on Scarecrow's training and take a split-second response to that. From the moment after, not like I'm not trying to interrupt the events you've described, but what I want to do is assume that she has triangulated in her mental geography, in her own internal telemetry, its position, and she's going to act fast enough that that position should be roughly accurate. And basically, I'm making the argument that I want to bombard because I'm blind firing, and I want to point at that position, fire, like just open fire, hold down the trigger, and then fire a jump jet sideways to burst out of the building.
Yeah, absolutely. That is 100% bombard. This will be desperate limited.
Okay. Pushing the improvised vehicle, is that one tick?
That is one tick for now. That's something I'm changing in the future, but...
Okay, in that case... What do you think, guys? Do I need it? I've got 3 die. So I'm okay there. Do I want more effect?
What is your effect out? Sorry?
Limited.
The Tybalt has 1 tick left. So limited
In that
will...
case, another die might just help sell it.
But also limited effect.
It's got 1 tick, so limited will take it out. Assuming you succeed.
Okay, then in that case, I'm going to push for the die.
Okay, so I'm going to add another tick to the arquebusier. That's a 6.
Well done.
All right.
So I think the Tybalt is, like looking up. It has a rifle, right? I think you said it had?
No, it's got a head-mounted machine gun. It's got a rapier,
Okay, so
a
it's like-
shield, and head-mounted machine gun and armor.
Yeah. So it's looking up. It's just seeing me drop through. So it's like, I think it's taking the time to scan and like look for movement and being prepared to I think what it's preparing for me to do is like pop out of cover, shoot, and do that. And instead the cover explodes outward. There's a cloud of falling debris and dust above it. And before it can even see a form coming out of it, you just see like those big anime tracer rounds just coming out of it and shredding it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think the arquebusier lands on top of it. I think that's just how that has to end.
All right, yeah. So the arquebusier straddling the Tybalt, which is just being ripped to shreds. It's just got huge chunks taken out of it from the anti-AV Gatling guns that are mounted on the arquebusier. And you're standing over your kill. And we're gonna
At which point, I think Scarecrow taps her comm and is like, company is left.
So let's go back to you 3.
We had company?
I assumed left is a euphemism.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's 3 Tybalts. You guys are buying me lunch.
We'll
Yeah, you can have
talk
mine.
over lunch.
Keep mine down.
Tables? Okay. That's probably bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So Hannah might not want to talk to me, but I want to at least try to talk to her.
Okay, so she's kneeling on the ground with her hands behind her head.
That was a desperate roll, wasn't it?
That was so mark XP.
Yeah. And that has to be
In
that has to be
acuity, I believe.
Acuity.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought maneuver was expertise.
The maneuver was at
Desperate
risky.
Was the
Oh, right, that was bombard, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it got moved.
Hannah?
Pitchfork.
Why do you hate off-worlders so much?
She lets out a short, sharp laugh. And she says, "What's your last name, Pitchfork?"
Tuesday.
Is that the name you were born with?
I don't know what the name I was born with is. You know that.
Yeah. Because the off-worlders killed your parents. And left you in a sorry state. And then they adopted you. And look at you now.
And you're just going to kill them all?
I mean, if they want to leave the planet, that's fine by me. Now, you gonna put that bullet in my brain, or are we done here?
Is Pitchfork? I don't think Pitchfork is even holding a gun. Other people are holding guns. Pitchfork isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even... I don't think you have even declared a gun. You've got a shield.
I have never declared a gun.
I know.
Oh.
Dredge, I think, wants to pull Pitchfork aside for a second. The way that I see it, we have two options. Because just letting them scatter, they will reform and hit us harder. They're not going to take this loss lightly. So, and this is with with Tower in the Huddle Azor. What was it that that Castle Kim actually told me?
That Tusser was going to have a contract for you in a couple weeks, and that you had to take it. It was going to be something dealing with hazardous environment, the kind of thing that the Cenotaph is equipped for.
Yeah. So you remember Castle Kim? They have orders for us, and the orders mean making nice with the March of the Saints. I assume for some sort of subterfuge. It's a temporary thing. Not that we've ever been especially good spies, but they must be desperate to be asking. So either we can, piggybacking off of Scarecrow's work, turn in the burden, as traitors, or kill them. Those are the only two good outcomes I can see. They're not good outcomes, but everything else is worse.
To be clear, I don't think y'all have any ROE related to the treatment of prisoners.
No, that would be guiding, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys want a dramatic moment at this point, like, I think Scarecrow can be at the point, start on the way to regroup. I think at this point,
Yeah.
I think,
because if she enters the room, she will enter this conversation. I don't think this is all on mic.
yeah. And I think I was gonna sort of turn to Pitchfork on this. And just, like, you know, they were hurting your people. You're the one with connections here. I don't think we should make this decision for you.
And certainly, if you have other ideas, we will back you 100%.
I want to ask Riza what she thinks.
Sorry, what was that?
I want to ask Riza what she thinks.
Okay. For the sake of this, do you want to radio her as she's en route, or do you want her to, like, walk into the room?
We can fast forward to walking in, I think. Right? There isn't any
Okay.
immediate threat. And
Alright, cool.
he's not that far away, I don't think.
No.
Yeah, so Riza comes in, and, you know, she's got her standard kind of gear on, you know, the flight suit, the jacket over it. And I think you guys can see, like, she pulled the guy out of there, but she was still in there. So I think there's, like, not like, she's not, like, drenched in gore, but, like, there's, like, little bits of it on the edge of her jacket and stuff. You can tell she's been in some stuff. And she just comes in and, like, I'm assuming we're off in a side room.
No,
having
this.
conversation?
No, off to the side, but not in a separate room.
Okay.
I mean, you can be in the stairwell connected to this break room if you want.
Okay.
But let me know if you are.
And real fast, how do you brief her on the situation?
Well, this is what's
Actually,
up to the
well, no, I
verdict.
think she has all the
Yeah.
context she really needs. Okay. So she's gonna say, "All right, I'm gonna be real with you guys here. Probably not gonna like it, but we should pop these guys and go because a Burden Arquebusier just took out 3 Tybalts. They don't know it was me, but these guys are kind of recognizable.
Whose fault is that?
So unless you have a really compelling plan to get them to split with the, sorry, it's the,
March of Saints?
unless you have a really good idea to get these guys to split with the March of Saints, they are a goddamn liability.
So, I
And we
have
are
a belief.
Deep.
I have a belief with Riza, which is Riza's competent, but I don't want to be her.
Yeah, I'm pushing that button.
Yeah, I
I wanna
also
do
have a belief.
Exact opposite of that. I think Pitchfork says, let's turn them in.
Here's a buck wild idea.
Yes.
What if we do hire them?
Higher.
Listen, we have to go fuck up the March of the Saints. We send the burden first.
Do we have to work for the March of Saints?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You think we can... Oh. Trucks.
It's for really good radio. Sorry about that.
You think we can trust them not to rat us out?
I
We
think,
hire them and then they go fuck up the Saints? You think?
I think.
Let me tell you something about military security. You don't need to worry about deliberate leaks of information. That's not where it happens. You just have to let something slip.
I think we can count on them to hate the Church of the Celestial Myriad and like being alive. I think there's no way that they lose in this.
All right, sell them on it, because this is about to break. I've seen mobs. I've seen mobs like this, and this is not homeostatic, believe me. And she's like giving like really meaningful glances over towards the prisoner group. She's like noting like where people are looking, like people shifting their weight and so on. So like I think she has a very clear sense that this situation is about to explode.
Pitchfork, is this something you're interested in, and can you sell it if you are?
I don't know if I can sell it, but I'll try.
Out of character, feel free to paint me as bad cop. That might help. The lady with the white hair wants to put a bullet in your head.
I do want to point out that I have a belief of Riza that's she's new and nice. Nice is different than good. Because I've been trying to turn my beliefs into music theater references because that's who Tower is. Just as a person.
Okay.
I am playing so much character today. I am so happy with it already.
But like
I'm jumping
you
out of
know,
buildings, blowing shit up. I'm threatening to execute prisoners. It's so good.
Sometimes.
Some days, yeah. All right, let's talk.
So what do you do, Pitchfork?
Here we go again. Hannah,
Pitchfork. Got-
what if we didn't have to kill you today?
Well, that's a interesting proposition. I think Joe like gives you like a quick glance, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, he doesn't say anything, but you can tell by his body language, like he readjusts his grip on his pistol. Like, this is not what they were expecting, but they're following your lead.
What if... Just to clarify, we want them to fuck up the March of the Saints?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm a little confused.
Like, if we... Here's my theory. Here's which is we send the burden as, prisoners under that framing to the March of Saints. The March of Saints takes them. The burden gives them hell. And then we come in and do whatever the job is that we're supposed to do. And maybe get the burden out, and maybe just sort of like toss some weapons their way and see what happens.
God, this is so messy. I love it. Okay.
Yeah. Fuck.
Give them
I mean,
guns,
also-
see what happens.
I mean, there's also the possibility that we give them the burden with concealed weapons on hand, and allow them to just fuck them up, and then that puts us on the upper hand when we're being hired.
Well, it doesn't speak particularly well to the quality of our work, but what has? So,
Yeah. What if we had an inside job for you?
Well, then I would like to hear the details.
Yeah, I think we elaborate a little bit on what we just talked about, and I think Pitchfork says that, we don't really agree with the March of Saints putting kids in labor camps. We're not entirely happy with some of the business you've had in the past.
So my understanding is that my options are either you execute all 12 of us, or you send us to a labor camp, and then theoretically, at some point in the near future, you come and break us out or arm us so that we can start a riot.
Yes.
Sorry, out of character. Sorry,
Hmm?
I'm confused. I was getting the impression that the sending to labor camps and fucking up the saints were directly following each other, like in direct succession, rather than go make them prisoners, wait a couple
I mean,
of
we're
weeks, and then
still on our
arm them.
job.
Yeah.
But
It's not like today.
Okay. Sorry.
yeah, I'm good.
So what do you want to roll, Pitchfork?
Fucking Christ.
Oh shit, rolling that thing that
Yeah.
we do.
Whew.
Sway.
That sounds like a sway. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I can't help you. I'm sorry. I'm 2 ticks away from filling out.
Yeah, I'm gonna push myself.
This will be risky limited.
Yeah, I'm gonna push. Oh, can I take desperate for standard?
Yeah, you can take desperate for standard.
All right, so I
Oh,
will
boy.
do that. I will take 2 ticks of stress for an extra die. God, I'm so mad. I used my special armor already. I used everybody hurts, which seems appropriate, but I'm mad about it.
Everybody hurts.
Oh, I think that's all I got. I think.
So to be clear, Austin, can we just spruce up Beam Saber so it's like a JoJo level of musical references?
I'm considering it. All
Yeah,
right.
I think that's all I got. So that's a sway. That's desperate. Standard. 2 dice.
God, we are all so tired.
We are.
I don't think there's any of us who is less than 2 or more than 2 points away from drumming out or scoring out.
Yay!
That's a 4.
That's a 4.
Desperate.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Effect standard. I mean,
oh boy.
Hannah,
Did There, go ahead.
Hannah smiles at you, and she says, "Well, that mission plan sounds a lot better than an unmarked grave. So I think we'll take the offer."
Says it would have been unmarked.
I'm just gonna tell you out of character. If we had killed a bunch of people down here, once we got out, fucking Scarecrow was gonna level the building to make it harder to find, them unarmed and shooting, which would conflict with the story
know.
that they later.
I
oh
know.
no, Dredge
I
is
could
very
put some.
framing body so that it looked like a fair fight. Don't worry about it.
I could put some flame decals on it or whatever. Just repurpose them for my old Obby decoration.
Have temporary
I
tattoo,
hate this.
3 eyebrows.
I hate this.
No, just Sharpie on little
Angry
like,
eyebrows.
angry eyebrows. Just onto all the corpses.
So yep. Hannah says they'll take the work.
I don't like that that's where your sentence ended because that was a 4.
Yep.
Mm.
Fine.
Okay,
Yeah, that's all it is. Just
fine. Cool.
Yeah.
Glad.
Cool and good.
Okay, well we have a cousin to find. If that's everything here.
Joe. Well, I mean, Joe looks at Pitchfork and
Yeah.
says, "So what are we doing with them?"
them to the March of the Saints.
Hannah just stands up and like dusts her knees off. And that definitely gets like a nervous cocking of a pistol from one of the runts. But no one shoots.
I think Scarecrow has instinctively made one of those like SWAT hand signals to stand down. I'm not sure anyone understands it. She's just like, whoa, 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 easy, kid, easy.
Yeah, they don't know hand signals.
Yeah, just is it just a walk down to the March of Saints? Is that what it is? What? Hey, you already know where you were supposed to deposit laborers. Go there.
Well, yeah, we could just walk up there and volunteer at the yard, the recruitment stall that the Saints have set up for labor. But if we're supposed to be prisoners, volunteering might be a little suspicious. But we'll go volunteer if you want.
All right. Yeah,
Well,
that's
if
fair.
you want
You
an
need an
arquebusier to
escort,
march him in, that might help solve things.
I mean, if they were planning on like making the Rubble Runts go and volunteer, I would assume they'd have like restraints or something that they can, like zip tie kind of
I
deal.
do have zip. I have a thing that says handcuffs or zip ties, although I feel like that implies a very small amount of them, maybe one, instead of enough for 12 people.
Well, the point of having zip ties is you can carry way more of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will.
I think like
declare-
a zip tie would be easier to break out of, generally
Yeah.
speaking, but like you could carry a bunch of them.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
So you if you wanted to clear that load,
Mhm.
all right.
I guess I can walk them down. I mean, I need to arrange the contract anyway, so if it's... Well, I mean, it depends, because Tooster knows me, and I know Tooster, and that's not especially good contact. Maybe what if someone else goes and does the exchange, then it will solve the... Yeah,
you know what?
actually have to work with them.
Riza might actually be the best job for that, because she's probably the least known quantity. In the
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you weren't involved in the whole thing with them
That's true.
at the end of the last sort of big work.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
I'm gonna drop a little bit of a lead here. Just drop out some rope here.
Uh-huh.
Does anyone want to follow or at least watch from a distance, under the assumption that
Yes.
hey, let's trust Scarecrow, who wanted to kill all of them, to deliver him?
Oh, absolutely. I was gonna say after,
Yeah.
after that.
I'm
that I
not
was-
planning on killing them, for the record. I'm just saying that'd be a bit of drama that I think might be fun.
No, I was planning on
Excellent. I'm glad we're lining up.
going after.
So Pitchfork, you bust out the zip ties, and Hannah holds her hands out in front of her and says, "Care to do the honors?"
It's getting kinky.
Yeah.
I don't
First.
even think I say anything. I don't say anything. I'm just fucking shaking my head. I'm probably a little red in the face.
Oh, this is some power bottom energy, and I'm all for it.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
Okay, so you zip tie the burden, and then Scarecrow takes them outside at gunpoint?
You probably shouldn't take the arquebusier, thinking about it. That's probably a bad idea, considering the way that we're framing. Actually, we should probably destroy the arquebusier over here.
Oh yeah, no, we can get rid of that. But we will, yeah, so I think she's gonna take one of the discarded rifles, just because I don't want to use load to have... You know, I think walking them along with a semi-automatic rifle is not gonna pull the trigger.
Yeah, okay, so you take one of
So,
their
like,
guns.
She's got one of the discarded assault rifles, she's marching them up.
Okay. So, the runts that are with you look... after Scarecrow and the burden leave, They like visibly slump, like they let out a collective breath, so to speak. And Joe says, all right, well, that seems like it went fairly well. What now?
Well, now I'm going to make sure that she doesn't actually murder them. Like, jump out a window. Not actually, because I have a broken rib from doing that last session.
That's what it like is a hop, just like a little.
Yeah, like I don't like yeet myself out, but I like attach a grappling hook and climb down.
Yeah.
But no stairs for tower. Absolutely not. Never.
Have you met Tower?
Yes.
All right. So while Dredge and Pitchfork are thinking about what to do next in pursuit of Margrave Elreth, let's follow the Burden and Scarecrow and Tower. So, Scarecrow, you're presumably at the back of this group of 12 people who are zip-tied.
Oh, sending them without the fire team was a bad idea.
Yeah, that actually.
Can we just send the fire team? That feels. Sorry, I.
Just immediately be like, actually go after them!
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
Listen, Riza is very competent and also is one person. And that was a 4. So. And, like, if I were them, the walk down would be a great time to kill your captors and leave. So. Yeah, just. If you could, that would be great. Maybe.
Joe's eyes go wide, and then he's like, alright, let's go, people! And they, like, run off, like, sprint off after Scarecrow. So I think they catch up with you, Scarecrow, like, by the time you're outside of the building.
Yeah, and then I think her response is, actually, yeah, this would make me look like a bit of a solo. Yeah, this is smart. Okay, 2 on that side, 2 on that side, and she starts just giving like troop orders, like, all right, so we're gonna like have a box around them, move them in. Weapons hot, but not pointed. You know, just marching orders. I think she's definitely following, and I think like there are some slight nuances that you could point out, but like if you really knew your shit, you'd see like, actually, yeah, this is Joven protocol. This is Joven prisoner transfer protocol.
Okay.
Like, I think for the Jovens at least, there's a little bit of emphasis on dignity and so on, and kind of a mutual trust of prisoner jailer is like, okay, look, we don't like this situation. It's necessary. Don't break the contract, and we'll be as reasonably accommodating as we can.
All right.
Like, you know, we don't point the guns at them. We have them ready, but we're not like marching with the barrel to their back.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you're having you're directing the fire team and moving them to to the yard. What do you want to roll to get them there? Because you're participating, so it's not command necessarily.
I guess. I don't know what this would be.
Could be command. Making sure that the burden listen.
I have nothing in command. And I have like no stress left.
You could roll something else if you want it. If you can think of a
Voices.
if you can think of a reasonable choice. Struggle can technically be used for restraining people. It's not the ideal choice, but
I will say,
Yes?
I have. You are now the only person I could possibly assist. Because I have 2 left, and I only have 1 link with you. So,
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I feel like I'd probably be the more likely person to assist here, only because
That's true. You are there, so
following.
Okay. Now, Austin, this I think is a bit of a stretch, but I want to make the case for it. Because when you prowl, you move with grace and precision. This is the phrasing I'm leaning on here. Is I want to assure the kind of gesture and body language of being non-threatening and being like trying to have that, Joven military prisoner bearing
Yeah.
of like, look, this, I don't want to death march you guys, just please don't fuck this up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can use prowl. What will this be? This will be controlled limited.
Controlled limited? Okay. And save your stress, Sasha, I think. It's a 6.
That's a 6. Okay. So you move through the streets of Kingstown, the snowy streets. And as you're going along, the burden they're behaving perfectly. You can see, though, that there are civilians on the street and in the windows. There's someone who picks up a rock and is, like, going to throw it at your group, and then their friend is like, yo, what are you doing? Are you crazy? And, like, stops them from, throwing something at you. And so you get to the yard, which is a bus depot that has been converted into a market. So there's a bunch of scavenged to shells buses that are now essentially stores. And there's also handmade stalls as well, where people have things set up. But it being the middle of winter, there's not a whole lot of business going on in terms of people selling produce and edible goods, even from the community
Tell
gardens.
me, is my mental image correct here? I'm seeing a distinct cross between Gone with the Blast Wave and this War of Mine.
Oh shit.
I haven't played this War of Mine, but maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, there's all these burned out buses, or well, not burned out. Some of them have been burned out, but anyways. And Hannah, like, you look around and there's no sign of like a church representative. And Hannah says, there's no sign of Sister Sundown. I wonder where she got to. So I think that the I don't recall if I'm pretty sure the name was said, and if it wasn't, well, Sister Sundown was the one who opened the cockpit on the Tybalts.
No, it was not said.
Okay.
Wait. I want to ask a question here because this is a leading detail. But this would be great. Would it be fair to say that, Myriad mechs would have, like a military nameplate, basically? Or not?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
that Avis generally have nameplates. They might have signifiers. Like, it's been established that saints in Avis do have halos on their Avis painted, but and the star of the Myriad, but not.
Cool. All right. In that case,
how do you do business with someone you just killed?
okay. So what? I think then.
How do
So I think what's going to happen there, Scarecrow's going to signal the runts, hold them steady, we'll be right back, and she's going to, like, just, like, pop into whoever's in the market. They'll be like, hey, I'm looking for Sister Sundown.
Let's see. Who do you try and talk to? Like, because there are recruiters, there are off-worlder recruiters here. And I think that might be it. I think most of the other people, like most of the locals, have like gone to ground with the gunfire, but the off-worlders, like, they don't have a place nearby to go to ground, so they just kind of like stuck around awkwardly.
Yeah, I think I'm going to them. I'm just gonna be like, hey, look, I heard there was a Myriad representative around here. Got a bounty to turn in? Got some merchandise? This is the place, right? This is the depot? This is 026?
So I think the person you're talking to says, you're Jovangelian, aren't you?
Allegedly.
Well, what kind of merchandise do you have?
Alright, look, I adopted this fucking gig, so a little fuzzy on it, but got some Myriad boys out there. I hear there's Myriad boys out here looking for labor.
Oh,
Kind of turned about. They tried to turn me and mine, so fair play.
Sister Sundown. Yeah, she
That's
ran off with her fellow and just sort of like dismissively gestures with his hand. I don't know, but there was a couple Tybalts ran past shortly thereafter, so I'm guessing that was her.
And then I don't think like it's enough to like give away what happened, but like I think from an audience perspective, she's like, ah, fuck. All right, she's gonna go back, and I think she's gonna thank, and I think like just like a local chit currency or whatever, just like flips a coin at them as a tip.
Okay.
It's like, thanks, friend. And I think she emphasizes friend. It's like, I think that's just like slightly intimidating, but also friendly. It's like formalized. It's like, we have done business. We're on good terms, and I'm clarifying that. I'm honoring the contract. God, I think I'm fucking up Jovangelian society in a big way, and I love it.
So what do you do?
So return, and then she's gonna go back and throw at Mike's like, guys, our contact at the labor yard, I think was in that Tybalt I killed. I'm not sure this gig is gonna work. So we're gonna need to renegotiate, and fast.
Couldn't be simple.
Anyways, but I think this is actually going to be pretty much my negotiation, I think, at this point, logistically speaking, because of the march.
Kill people.
I know where. Well, I don't know. I've never been to their offices, have I?
No, they came to yours.
But do I know where they are? Like,
Yeah, I think so, because it's not hard. I don't think it would be hard to find where they set up, and it was not hard for you to find where they took your protective field around the clinic and relocated it to.
mm-hmm. I could direct you there.
Just skip the middleman and go right to the source.
Well, there isn't a middleman to skip,
True.
is the issue. Unless you can find their boss.
You don't want Scarecrow to find their boss. This is a ladder thing. You don't want Scarecrow to start climbing that ladder.
The burden are all like kind of gathered together to try and like maintain their warmth a bit. They're all huddled up, all 12 of them.
Okay. So I think Dredge, would you communicate then roughly like I think we'd know like okay. Like what's kind of the response? Because I don't think I've told the burden yet that I killed Sundown. I think that's fair. But like we need to reassess quickly over comms because I need to figure out because at this point it's like, okay, I'm gonna talk to them and either we find a new rendezvous for the plan or say we call it square and say, hey, I'm pinning this on you fucking guys, so like, you know, don't turn us in. Or I just shoot them in the fucking street. So we're exactly back where we started. Just after a march in the snow, which makes it much grimmer.
We are worse than where we started because we are in public and and separated, and the burden have reason to turn the tables on us if necessary. Both as you know, ratting us out to the March of Saints, and from a killing us in the street perspective. So this sucks.
This sucks. Fuck.
To be clear, if you want to try and take them to where the Saints are set up and where their work site is, it is in the Broken Bank.
Yeah, that's
course it
that's
is.
too much journey. So I think if I can offer you guys an out here, I think what you guys can say is it's kind of my call because it's urgent and you guys would have to catch up.
100% your goal. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm just here to make sure you don't kill people. I'm not. No.
Okay. All right. So I think. Sorry, what's the leader's name again?
Of the burden, Hannah.
Yeah.
Can I go
All right. I'm gonna pull Hannah aside for a second.
Okay, so she walks over to you.
Wait,
Okay.
hold on.
So Sundown is dead.
1 second.
Pretty sure. So this
Oh.
isn't gonna work.
Sorry. How far are we
Wait.
from the Broken Bank? We're not that far, right? Like we're
Across the
around.
bridge.
Yeah, no,
I thought-
you're at the yard now, and then one of the intact bridges to the Broken
right
Bank
there.
is
Yeah,
pretty
the-
close
the
by.
Broken Bank is
Did I click
Around
out?
here.
I am the one. Good. Oh, I love it.
So we could feasibly get there, and the Broken Bank.
Yeah, but
I
also
know
we're
both me and Dredge know our way around there.
yeah,
and-
but I'm gonna say that Scarecrow absolutely does not like that plan because the yard is a more neutral ground. At basically their base, that's an easy opportunity for the Burden to go. Yeah, these guys fucking turned on us. These guys fucking like turned on us and like shit up your fucking plans. Take them.
So quick thing. Scarecrow, give me a fortune roll equal to the squad's tier.
What is our
Our
tier?
tier?
Tier 1 now?
It's 1, so that's 1 die. 1 die.
5.
5. Okay. You know that the yard isn't just neutral ground in terms of like it's not March of Saints territory. You know that it's also neutral ground in a broader sense.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So, I think what she's gonna say here is, you know, like, all right, so yeah, Sundown's dead. This isn't gonna work. I'd like not to kill you guys today. I'm gonna be real. So, what do you say we call this a wash? Cut the bonds. You walk away. We're good.
she just like she looks at you very flatly and is trying to judge your level of honesty. What do you want to roll for this?
I honestly don't want to roll for this, but because like I'm hold up. You mingle with it. I was like, you command force. Guile, wit, and charm. Negotiate better ceasefire terms. I guess sway is the only thing that's really appropriate.
Okay.
All right, I'll sway.
I think this is risky standard.
Okay. It's a 2.
That's a 2. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not actually a big fan of rolling in this situation just because it's like I'm offering a straight choice.
Yeah, it's I understand. It's also about like what their reaction is to it.
Okay.
Because yes, obviously they want to live. It's just whether or not they think like you're being truthful. Right? For all they know, you're going to cut them loose and then gun them down. Right? They certainly think that the runts are prepared to do that.
Well, this is still person to person. This is not a big group.
Yeah, no. This is entirely Hannah's reaction. God, what is her reaction? You know, I think I actually need a moment to think about this because, like,
Okay.
there's a lot on everyone's plates right now, and it is a good time for us to take a break. So, we're gonna take a break, and we will be back in a little bit.